What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe. What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well and staying safe from these storms that are ongoing across the United States. It is time now for the Tuesday edition of the Climate Update for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. If you're new to my channel, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. This is where we talk about daily climate and weather events that are ongoing across the United States and around the world. Today's focus, however, will be just on the United States because there is a lot of active weather going on, and there are some records that have been broken over the last 24 hours. Starting off with San Diego, where they did have an extreme rainfall record, and they are dealing with flash flooding. This yesterday was one of the wettest days on record at the airport in San Diego, and over 4 inches of rainfall was recorded in the downtown region of San Diego. I want you to see this video from AccuWeather. Look at this. This is not something that you see every day. That car is literally floating away in flood waters. All right, moving on to this. There is another weather system to the east of this one that is causing havoc as well and also breaking some records. Record rainfall in San Antonio. More is expected as new weather system nears, and what they mean by that is there's a whole parade of storms that are coming. One of them is eventually going to be that one that is out in California. San Antonio, it was a blockbuster 24 hours of rainfall with round 1 Sunday to early Monday. It was the largest two-day rainfall total in San Antonio since the spring of 2021 and also produced a daily rainfall record with 2.41 inches of rain, breaking the old record of 1.85 inches back in 2015. Hey, that was only 9 years ago, and yet they have broken another record. So let's continue on here. There was also the ice side of this storm. I want you to see this video. This is in the St. Louis area. You may have heard about this. Look how this fire truck is spinning out of control because of the icy conditions. This happened yesterday. It's absolutely insanity. Luckily, no one was injured. There is a blue car here on the right. That blue car did suffer some damage. As you can see right there, the fire truck did hit that blue car. All right, moving on now to this. This is something a little bit different that we have to talk about. There is going to be opportunity to see the Northern Lights this weekend on Sunday night in the states of Washington, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. They all have the likelihood, but those living even further south, like Wyoming, South Dakota, Iowa, Michigan, New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, also have the chance, not as great of a chance, but there is a chance that you could see the Northern Lights this upcoming Sunday. Take a look at this. You could see anywhere north of this red line, possibility, anywhere in this green line, good chance, anywhere in this red area, there's an even bigger chance. So, if you're a stargazer, keep an eye to the sky this weekend. Hopefully the weather should cooperate. We'll see. We'll take a look at that on the models. And in these northern states and even up in Canada, you will see the Northern Lights. Let's talk about current weather. We can see here, ongoing is this big old boundary and parade of systems that is setting up from Texas all the way up through to the northeast states, and there will even be another system behind us. You can see the system that affected San Diego, California yesterday, that's going to get into the mix as well. So you can see here a very active picture on the national satellite picture, and you can see here there is some precipitation that's ongoing down in Texas, more rain. Then there is a wintry side of the system still. The northeastern states, you're going to see some freezing rain, even some snow, and we'll take a look at that on the models as we go forward. Taking a look here at the latest temperatures, and we can see here temperatures, they are still relatively cold north of the Interstate 80 corridor, which is why we do have some freezing rain potential that is ongoing. Down to Florida, things are relatively warm. Gulf Coast states are warm as well. Some of that warm weather is going to make its way northward as we continue over the next several days, and we expect a big fall in the east compared to what it has been recently. All right, national hazards map from the National Weather Service. Very active. We have our flooding potential in the south. We'll talk about that in a moment. We also have a lot of fog that's ongoing in the central states. Then we have these winter weather advisories, which are continuing to be ongoing from portions of the Midwest through the Great Lakes into the Northeast. Again, Interstate 80 corridor on northward. You could be dealing with some snow and some freezing rain potential. Now we have to talk about this flooding potential. There is a moderate risk of excessive rainfall for today across portions of eastern Texas, Louisiana, and portions of Arkansas. This also continues tomorrow. It's a little more expansive tomorrow from Louisiana, extreme eastern Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Again, moderate risk of excessive rainfall for that day. Both days could experience flooding conditions, and I will show that to you on the models. Now, let's change this. Now, let's leave this at this view, and let's take a look at what's going on. First off, you see there's the rain that's ongoing down south. You also see up into the northeast, this is the NAM model. You see there is some snow, even some icy mix. Not expecting a lot of snow. You could see a couple inches of snow up there. I think the bigger story is going to be the flooding that is ongoing in the south. That is going to be a big problem over the next several days. You can see as we head into Wednesday, now this is Wednesday afternoon, there's another wave of energy that comes northward. And here's another one ejecting out of the Gulf. This one is going to have some training segments with it. There is a small risk for thunderstorms. It's not big. The Storm Prediction Center has it at marginal. At this point, we'll take a look at that in a moment, but you can see here, some training segments do get going from Louisiana on up through Tennessee, even into Kentucky, and that's something we have to watch tomorrow afternoon. You could see rainfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour in some of these training segments, which could lead to flash flooding. There already are flood watches that are up down in this area, and you can see even on Thursday, there is another risk. As that system moves into the northeast, there is another system that comes out of the Gulf, and that's going to be something we have to watch Thursday night going into Friday. How much rainfall are we talking? Well, this is not even all of the rainfall. It goes beyond 84 hours, and take a look at this. You're seeing anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of rain in these areas. Generally widespread 3 to 5, but isolated 6 and 6 plus in Louisiana. Yes, those are 7 and 8 inch rainfall amounts in central Louisiana. That's something we will have to be concerned about because that will definitely lead to flooding. The only good thing is a majority of this is happening over the course of several days, but some of this is going to happen in a very short period of time, and that's where your flooding risk could be. Up here in the northeast, your precipitation is going to happen over the course of multiple systems, starting today through Saturday. There'll be a break on Saturday. Then there's going to be another system that comes into play on Sunday. So while there may be a minor flood risk up there, it's not as great as if all this rain was coming at once. Because remember, before all the snow that occurred in the northeast, it was relatively active and wet. So we don't need much more rain, especially in Pennsylvania. We don't need more rain. And luckily, this is going to be spread out, which is why you don't see flood watches up as of yet. The West Coast, there's going to continue to be some activity in the Pacific Northwest, heavy rainfall. A little bit quieter now in Southern California. San Diego, you're not going to be dealing with a flooding threat today, tomorrow, or even on Thursday and Friday. Now let's go over to the GFS model, and let's take a little bit of a longer range look. You can see the GFS is showing the flood threat quite well down in Louisiana, and you can see the rainfall will spread its way up into the northeast. Northern New England, continued snow threats. Northern Maine, you may see several inches of snow, but watch what happens on Friday. Yet another system Friday night gets its act together down in the south. That comes up to the northeast, and this one is a little bit more concerning for the flood potential because look at this. You can see a little bit more precipitation in a shorter amount of time, and this could even try and transfer to a secondary low, which would lead to wintry precipitation generally north of New York City and North Jersey. I don't think there's going to be much New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore. I don't think you're going to see a wintry side to this. But if you're up in New England, look at this. Yes, this could turn into some sort of a coastal event for you, and you could see a snow-sleet mix and maybe see several inches of snow. Beyond that, looking into next week, as of right now, here we are, the middle of next week, it is looking to be much quieter. We'll probably have near normal temperatures in the northeast, warming temperatures in the west coast, and then as we get later into next week, that's when there could be another system that starts to move on to the west coast. But again, that is over a week out, and we'll start worrying about that as we get closer. And you can see even further out, you see troughing tries to come back into play in the northeast. All right, real quickly, taking a look at what's going on from the Storm Prediction Center, you can see here the next several days, there's marginal risk down along the Gulf Coast for severe weather. Nothing major because the instability is just not there. There may be a little bit of shear, but the instability is not looking all that impressive. All right, taking a look now at what's going on with the 6 to 10 day outlook. Well above average temperatures in the northern Midwest, northern plains, and much of the country is going to be above average. We're not going to see that change until the 8 to 14 day range. Alaska will be well below average, and you can see here above average precipitation in the west coast. Remember, there's going to be another system that comes in next week. Below average for the rest of the country. You saw on the GFS, it is going to get quieter. And then when we take a look at the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, still above average in the northern Great Lakes region. However, I think this may be slightly overdone in the Northeast. We'll have to watch. If that troughing comes into play, it'll probably be closer to near normal temperatures. If that doesn't come into play, then yes, it would be above average and near normal in southwest U.S., with the western being just slightly above normal and near normal temperatures down in Florida as well. Now for precipitation on the 8 to 14 day outlook, what we're seeing here is below average in the Northeast and well above average in the West Coast. In the long range, we're going to see a parade of storms yet again potentially set up for the West Coast. So places like San Francisco, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, places like that, it is going to get relatively active. Even Los Angeles, it'll get active for you as well. So the key takeaway for today's update, if you're anywhere from New Orleans or maybe Baton Rouge or Jackson, Mississippi, places like that, be unaware. There's going to be very heavy rainfall over the next several days. Flooding definitely could be a concern. Even places like Arkansas, Nashville, Tennessee, all you in those areas need to be aware and weather ready, because there is definitely the threat of flooding. Of course, we'll have more on this again tomorrow. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below and share this with anyone who needs to see this, especially those who are in the path of the flooding threats. Please share this with them so they are prepared ahead of time. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all again next time.